The new case is wonderful. I've talked about this previously, but this new case is absolutely wonderful. It's so much... When we were putting it together, it made routing, cables, and cable management so much better. Because I had a very old case. I've had the same case since like 2013 or something, right? So it's old enough that the cable management on it was absolute shit. So you would open up the PC and it would look like a rat's nest with all the cables shoved over to one side so they wouldn't get into the fans. And the power button had quit working and the reset button was stuck in. So I was just manually resetting. I was resetting the PC instead of turning it off. So my PC had literally not been turned off in quite literally months because of that. And I should get some more lockpicks and come back to this cave at some point. But yeah, it had been literal months since my PC had been turned off at all. But this new case, I really like the look of it. It's a sharp looking case. And makes cable management a breeze. And it works really, really well. And I also got a water cooler, as you guys know, and that has worked extremely well as well. The water cooler is it's got a 2-fan. I don't remember the different sizes for water coolers, but it has a 2-fan. Radiator on it, and it works exceptionally well. And it is so much quieter than my old one, and I'm loving that about it. And my computer's running better than it ever has since I got those, but I'm not done yet. I want more upgrades. I'm running on an AMD FX 8350 processor, and I've been running on that since like 2014 or something, 2015, something like that. I want a new processor. I want a new AMD. I want a Ryzen is what I want. A Ryzen 7. I'm looking at the 3700X, especially if I can get it on sale. If I can get it on sale, it's like 175, 180. If I don't get it on sale, it's a lot more expensive than that. And hopefully I can get it on sale so I don't have to pay like $300 for it. I'd rather not have to pay that much to get myself a new processor, because that's a lot of cash. I could use that cash to go buy a Switch, you know? I do eventually want to get a Switch, because I want to play that Zelda Link's Awakening remake on it. It's freaking gorgeous. I hope Nintendo eventually ports the HD remaster of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker to it. I would love to see them do that, because those are great games, and would love to see those represented in 1080p with well, I'd love to see them with 60 FPS, but I don't suppose that's possible on the Switch. Right now, if you want to play either one of those, you have to have the Wii U, and I kind of want to get a Wii U more for collector's sake than anything else, right? Because see there, I think it gets jittery like that every now and then when it loads in more terrain. I think that's what it's doing. That's really the only time that the frame rate seems to be an issue. You were taken from the Imperial prison, first by horseback and then by boat to the east, to Morrowind. Anyway, I want to get a Ryzen, probably a 3700X is probably what I'm going to get. And people told me, oh, well, if you get a 3700X, your bottleneck's going to be your 1660 Ti. So you should get a 6-core. Like, and I was like, maybe someday I'll upgrade from the 1660 Ti, but I'm happy with it right now. I am, eventually going to.
There are no guild homes,
but I don't want to go from this FX, which is an 8-core, down to a 6-core. And I realize it's a multi-threaded, it's a dual-threaded 6-core, right? So
what are you looking for?
Even with it being a 6-core, it's still a massive improvement over my current one. But I want another 8-core. That's what I want. So I'm going to get the Ryzen 7.
Northeast, moving clockwise, you have the market. Arena,
and I'm really looking forward to that, whatever the hell that is. I want to get 64 gig of RAM, which is way more than you need right now. But like for most games and most programs, whatever, 16 will do you fine. But I have 32 in my current build. It's 32 DDR3.
What are you looking?
Is what it is. But I want 64 DDR4, and that's going to be expensive. That's probably going to be the most costly thing I get for this PC.
What are you looking?
But yeah, I want a 64 DDR4, which again, way more than I need, but extremely useful, especially with how often I render video. Like, this is going to render 1080p video so much better and so much faster than my current build. And I'm really, really excited about that. Give me that. Give me that. I want it to be like when I render 720p video. I want it to be that fast, because I do render, like, if the video was recorded in 720p, i.e. it's a PlayStation 3 game that outputs in 720p, I will leave it at 720p. I won't render it 1080 because that will probably hurt the visual fidelity of it. I don't want to do that. I want to present it as is, as best as I can. So that's why you sometimes get 720p videos out of this channel, like the Dead Space Let's Play was all 720p, and any video that I recorded with the PlayStation Classic is also 720. It's because that's the output that those have.
What seems to be the problem? Emperors have been assassinated before, but this time, I don't know.
The problem I'm running into there, though, is in order to get all of that, I need to get a new motherboard. My current motherboard will not do DDR4 RAM, and it will not do Ryzen. It won't support either one of them. So if I want to get a Ryzen, I need to, and the Ryzen won't work with my RAM either. So I need to upgrade all three together. I need to get all three at once, and that's going to be fucking expensive. So I'm going to be living with my Ryzen 30. So I'm going to be living with my AMD FX 8350 and 32 gig of DDR3 RAM for a while, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's worked fine for me for years. It will continue to work fine for me for another 3-4 months, however long it takes to save up the money to get all that.
Stonewall shields. We specialize in
but that's also part of why I got the CPU cooler and the liquid cooler and the case before I got anything else. It's because I wanted to try to break up the price, because I knew getting all of this was going to be goddamn expensive. Seriously, people, just being straight up and honest, paying one price of $300 to $400 for a console and then getting games on it, especially if you get them used,
An excellent bargain.
really is cheaper in the long run than PC gaming. And I love PC gaming. I love it to death. I've been doing PC gaming since I was a kid. I've always loved it, but PC gamers love to claim that it's the cheaper option. It's really not. It's really not. I love it to death, but I'm sorry, guys, it's not.
I appreciate your business. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is. I went to the Imperial City and decided to explore and talk to people and run around and do different things.
You have my ear, citizen.
And I do go visit Wayland Priory in this eventually. That's in the third episode, and all the crashes are in the third episode. So when episode 6 of this Let's Play winds up being a little bit disjointed, that's why. And this is what I do with videos. I just do one continuous recording of the commentary track while we're playing or post commentary, and then I just attach it to the video and divide it up among the 3 episodes. Divide it up into 3 episodes. So it might start off like continuing something that I was saying in a previous episode. It might not start off with me going, hey, yeah. Frequently does not start off with me going, hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Let's Play yada yada yada. It doesn't start off that way. It starts off with me talking about whatever it was I was talking about when the previous episode ended. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it. I've been doing Let's Plays for a long time, and I've never found a method that actually gets me a goddamn audience. I would love to get an audience for this channel. I would absolutely love it if we did. I would. That's what I want to do. Is I want to build a community of people that interact with me on the channel and talk to me and watch my videos and watch my reviews and everything like that. I would love to get that. I've wanted that for literally years, and I've never been able to do it, and I don't know why. And at least the channel is slowly growing again ever since
She'll fill you in with the details.
At least the channel's slowly growing again ever since I switched over to the Doom Dog and decided to switch directions with it. And speaking of those reviews, I am working on.
I heard she was climbing up the chapel just so she could jump off.
Oh yeah, this guy wants us to
if I don't have what you need,
search for
the Gilded Carafe. That's right in the Market District.
Investigate another merchant that he thinks is stealing goods and selling them or something along those lines. That's what he wants. And here's the Gray Fox poster. I am currently working on the video reviews of Untold Legends Dark Kingdom for the PlayStation 3. And that's my main focus right now because that's the bigger project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish taking notes on that. And to take notes, I watch the video, find out where the story bits are, write down time codes for the story bits, and whatever the part of the story is about. That's typically how it goes. That's if you hear rain in the background, it's raining pretty hard outside. There's nothing I can do about that. So sorry about that. I don't really have like an insulated, like proper room to record audio in or anything like that. I've got a good mic. I just don't have a place to properly record this kind of thing. So sorry about that, y'all. And I have done, anyway, I've done the first 7 episodes of,
I'm Gellifor, the Watchman. I keep an eye on things.
Untold Legends Dark Kingdom.
That wanted criminal.
I
Isn't he a master thief?
was
I hear
planning
he's
on doing 2 more
I've
episodes
heard
tonight,
he's a
episodes
spy for him.
8 and 9, and I'm trying to get through it as quickly as I can.
Complaining, but it's really not so bad. The thieves
And
do
after I
this
get
much.
that, I
They
will
don't
be
want me
prepared
trouble
to
with
start to write the scripts for both videos.
Anvil is all in an uproar.
And I will get both of those done as soon as I
Talking about
can.
the end of the world.
And once I get the script written for Dead Space,
Goodbye.
I will switch my main focus over to that because that's a much smaller project, going to be a lot easier to edit together for you guys. So I will focus on that and getting that out the door until that is done, and then I will return my focus to Untold Legends. And I'm looking forward to being done with Untold Legends. I probably said this already.
Can I help?
Another Argonian.
The Emperor and his 3 sons dead right under the noses of the Imperial Guard. It's a disgrace.
I'm real looking forward to being done with Untold Legends for a few reasons. One,
They don't get along.
RPGs
I don't
are
understand it.
very,
I just make the armor
very
and
fucking
keep
hard
it
to
in
do.
good
They
shape.
are massive undertakings because they're long, big games with a lot to them and a lot to talk about, as is evidenced by the previous one. Like
String him up when they catch him. Oh, he's a slippery one, though.
the first 2 Untold Legends games were roughly an hour long per video, and the Fallout 3 video was an hour and 42 minutes. And you guys know I love RPGs. I've done those 3. I did a full Let's Play and video review of Diablo and Diablo 2. And the first Final Fantasy. I need to get back and do Final Fantasy 2 at some point. And we need to figure out a proper way to get that done, because I want to cut out a bunch of random battles so it's not just constant random battles. It takes forever to get through that way.
It's a beautiful city, but stay away from the waterfront.
And I did Knights of the Old Republic as well. So you guys know I love a good RPG. You know I love it. And we will eventually do Diablo 3. That is something we're planning on doing at some point.
Well met.
I just need to get I have the PlayStation 4 version of it, so I need to get online for the PlayStation 4
You have to be here. This is the city. The big
so we can
city.
spend time recording through that, and you guys can look forward to it. And I've not beaten that game,
I know that Dovanaran is getting up in
so
years,
I'm
but he
excited
still
about
knows
that.
a
It should
bit
be
about
good.
alteration.
But they're very hard to do, and I promised over 2 years ago that I would take care of, that I would do this trilogy of RPGs, the Untold Legends games. I said I told you guys that I was looking online for video reviews to find out what other people thought of them, right? And I didn't find like hardly anybody.
So, Ogier sent you, Well then, he usually sizes up people well, so you may be just what we're looking for. I'm the chairperson for the Society of Concerned Merchants. We formed this group a while
I didn't
back.
find hardly
A
any
nice,
video
fair
reviews on it
economic
at all, and the only ones that were anything close to
Not every store is
professionally
a member,
well
but
made
we're
and
slowly
scripted and
trying
put
to
together
convince them
were
to join.
old video
Everything was
reviews
fine
of like
until
G4
Thorin opened his shop
and other
nearby.
professional sites and shows
Selling
like
all
that.
sorts of merchandise, he
No,
undercuts
just
prices like
fans
you
putting
wouldn't
together,
believe.
here's a
He doesn't
retrospective
always
on it.
sell
So
what we
I
sell,
just like,
but it is still a problem.
you know what? I have nostalgia for this series.
who buy
I
tend
remember
to wanna
playing
spend their
this. I
money
remember
there.
playing this when I first
That
got my
leaves none
PlayStation
for
3
us.
and when I
It's
first got my
getting so bad, a
PlayStation
few of us
Portable.
may have to close up shop.
and nobody's done this, so this is kind of an untapped market. I will be the one to put together a retrospective look at these 3 videos, and I've took a long time, but I've kept my promise, and I've done the first 2, and I'm currently working on the 3rd, so part of me is just excited to be done with it. I'm also excited to do simpler, easier to talk about games than role-playing games. And there are other, like I did the first Halo. You guys know I did the first Halo. And when I did that, I promised I would do more Halo games. And I will do more Halo games. So you guys can look forward to Halo 2 probably after that. So if you guys like that, you should be excited for that. I also said that I wanted to do some of the Medal of Honor games.
Look at all those wanted posters.
I'm pretty excited to go and take a look at some of the Medal of Honor games as well.
More successful uncovering his scheme than we've been.
I really hope you guys enjoy the Doom Dog reviews as much as I do, because I get a lot of joy out of, especially when someone's like, "Oh man, I remember playing this game when I was younger. I loved this game, and nobody else remembers it, and you reminded me of it. Thank you so much." When people say things like that to me, that means the world to me. Like, it makes the 30, 40, 50 hours that I spend putting into an in-depth review of an RPG worth it when I get comments like that. And
everyone's talking about the assassination, of course.
Speaking of which, I wasn't really excited to sit down and play this. Like, not that this is a bad game, not by any means, that's not what I mean, but you know how you get, like, you know how an RPG can just draw you in and it's all you think about, and you just like, oh man, I just want to go back and I want to play more of that. I want to play more of that. I want to play more of that. Yeah, I decided to start playing through the version of Final Fantasy VII included with the PlayStation Classic. And yeah, even though I think that and yeah, it did. It drew me in, and then it was all I could think about was I want to sit down and I want to play more of Final Fantasy VII. I want to sit down and I want to play more Final Fantasy VII. So I was like, but I need to do Oblivion. So it's not that this game is bad, it's that my mind was somewhere else. You know how that is, right? If you played, and I am that way, especially with PS1 RPGs and SNES RPGs, that era of RPGs in particular. I am that way with it, and it doesn't even matter too much which one it is, almost. Like, I get the same nostalgic feeling, even from something that I didn't necessarily play back then. Like, I didn't play Legend of Dragoon until years after it came out, and it still brought me back to that time, like, when I could spend so much of my day just playing a role-playing game on my PlayStation or my Super Nintendo back in all, you know, it just draws me in a way that nothing else does. I love it. And for the record, I think Final Fantasy VII is an overrated game. It's not one of my favorites in the series. I think 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, and Tactics are all better than 7. Which is not to call 7 bad. There's a lot to like about 7. It's got an interesting story. The world is interesting. It's got some good characters. I really like Red 13 and Vincent. The music is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. So there's plenty to like there. It's just not one of my favorites. But even then, just being an RPG from that time frame, it draws me in. And it almost doesn't matter which one it is. So Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy Tactics, Legend of Dragoon, Legend of Legaia, Xenogears, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Evermore, Final Fantasy 4 and 5 and 6.
My housemates and I were lucky to find this house in the temple.
All of these do this for me. They just draw me in and won't let me go, and I kind of fucking love it. And it's not every single one of them. Like, I don't like 8 very much, right? Because 8's got some really annoying mechanics that I really don't care for. 8, the draw system sucks in 8. I do not like the draw system. It is tedious. It slows the game to a fucking crawl, and it gets on my nerves really, really fast. The junction system feels like an answer to a question that nobody asked. Like, the junction system replaces typical equipment and weapons. Instead of buying equipment and weapons in the game, you junction things to your stats to make yourself more powerful, and you could basically break the game by doing that. If you know what you're doing. You can also basically break the game with the way that the limit break system works. Because the way the limit break system works is if your HP is yellow, if your HP is low enough to be yellow, there is a chance that you're going to go into a limit break. And every single time you switch over to your character, every single time it comes back to your character's turn, you can get another chance to perform that limit break. Your limit break. And this means that all you have to do is hit triangle over and over and over and over again to skip the turns of the to switch back and forth between the characters and wait until it says you could do your limit break. So you just like quickly mash it. It says you could do your limit break, and then you do your limit break and deal out a shit ton of damage, and you can win. And if you play it this way, it basically removes anything resembling a challenge at all that the game might have had. And makes it way, way too easy. It is way too easy to just cheese that game and fucking break it. That's even with enemies scaling to your level. And which is another thing that I don't like about it. Enemies scale to your level in that game. So the more you level up, the more powerful they get. So enemies at the starting area of the game are going to be tough. If you're level 99, they're going to be much more powerful. You're not going to be able to slaughter all of them in one hit. And I don't like that. I don't like that in Oblivion. I don't like that in Skyrim. I don't like that in Fallout 3. I don't like that in Fallout 4. I don't like that in Final Fantasy 8. Stop doing that. It's a bullshit way of artificially increasing difficulty. So, if we could get away from that, I would much prefer it. Holy shit, I do not like that method of artificial difficulty increase. Like, I would rather you just recolor old enemies and present them as newer and tougher versions of the same enemies, like RPGs on the SNES and NES and DOS days did, then you do that. Because I really do not like. I really do not like that. It grates my nerves very quickly. That's one of the reasons that I don't really like Final Fantasy VIII. Beyond that, the story to 8 is dumb. The story to 8 is really dumb.